Meet Jeramie and Vanessa. What we're going to do here is Jeramie's concern here in a minute, in case you can't understand her because we're in a busy restaurant, is her service dog doesn't like to walk across the floors in grocery stores or floors at the airport.
Vanessa doesn't like flooring that's not carpet. She just likes to be on carpet. And when she goes to the airport with me or we're walking around, if it changes and it's slippery, she just walks up. She will not move. And I have to when it's a bad situation, sometimes I drag her a little bit. Or I have to walk around her to try to get her to move. It's something that I would love her to stop doing.
So now I am coaching Jeramie with Vanessa in a local Whole Foods grocery store.
So I got an idea. Go around the corner and disappear.
So what I'm doing is using motivation and abandonment. Is dropping the leash and walking away from the dog to see if the dog can literally, voluntarily walk through her own fears.
Okay, now reappear. Beautiful. So your food drive's still possibly diminished? Yep. So again, we just, okay.
Okay.
So then we're just using you, moving away from her. Did you see how she did that when you disappeared? She was she went around this way to try to find you.
Oh, okay. She does that at work sometimes, yes?
I had suggested not feeding Vanessa breakfast to help motivate her to walk towards her when she showed her the food and walked away. And what you just saw is, regardless of how hungry a living, breathing being is, sometimes you're just not going to eat.
Go ahead and turn the corner again, and then pop back out. Come back out. Disappear again. And this time, wait.
So now I'm just using the fact that mom's moving away because food is not motivating this dog at this time.
Keep waiting.
So I'm allowing the dog to figure this shit out on her own. If you want to be close to your mom, you got to walk through. And in a moment here, she's going to sit. I love how people are all walking around the dog. It's all about that vest. Okay, now she's just going to sit there. And I believe she's sitting...
Can you come around and come up behind her?
Because her mom often puts her in a sit-stay and walks
Come
away.
Behind her. Come all the way around.
So now I'm directing Jeramie to come around the other way. Often my experience is that if a dog is in the habit of being put in a sit-stay and you walk away, when they're confused and trying to figure things out, they're going to go to the skills they already know. So I think that's why she stopped and sat. And now she's noticed that mom's gone the other way. So look at this little problem solver.
Now, walk right past her.
I'm asking her to do that because I want the dog again to go, wait a minute, that didn't work. You see how she's stopping to analyze and think about it? I'm letting the dog do it on her own.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is just allowing the dog to figure it out on her own. Again, when we first started this, the dog froze.
So do me a favor, just squat down, but don't say anything. Just squat down.
The reason why I'm having her do that is sometimes that can help motivate a dog to move towards you. Some reason for when we use our body and get lower, it moves them in. Oftentimes we go towards the dog and they run away from us, but if you drop down and go away from the dog, it often works.
And start to walk again. I'm just throwing out different things. I'm just kind of watching what her body language does.
Now I'm just watching the dog and tuning into my own instincts to see how I can help coach Jeramie to help her dog to move forward.
Oh yeah, she's definitely.
It's not as scary for her.
So that could be a part of it is the noise and could be the vibration too. Yeah. I did notice. Did you notice her little feet? She kind of stopped and she's almost like okay.
So we can try to ask all day long why the dog is doing this. But since we can't ask the dog, we'll just keep experimenting with how we can help the dog voluntarily figure things out on their own.
Okay, now squat down again. And another thing is if you are alone, is walking and then dropping and walk just a couple steps.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be totally out of sight.
Because I want you to feel comfortable doing it. Now just for fun, get up and kind of walk fast. pretend you're alone. Only go how far comfortable you are.
One thing with successfully training people or coaching them is you can't always be there. So my goal is to help build their confidence so they feel safe and confident doing it when they're alone.
We going to the cheese?
So I had suggested getting some, I asked Jeramie what Vanessa's big time favorite food was. And she said, oh, mozzarella cheese. So I said, well, let's go back in and use the cheese instead of her normal meal, even though she didn't eat that morning.
Shortcut. She's like, I'm shortcutting. Oh, beautiful. All right, great. Now what I would do is pick up her leash, and now let's get some cheese.
All right, so we're going over the cheese aisle. And we've gotten some mozzarella cheese sticks. So now I'm coaching Jeramie to every few steps. If the dog moves, see how she's moving quicker now? Because now she's motivated by the cheese. So I had Jeramie show her the cheese and then move away. So this is using food as a leading gesture instead of using it as a bribe. Huge difference, and eventually she will not need that food at all. But look at the difference in the dog's moving through her little fear.
Nice.
Of sliding and bulking on the floors. So she's dropping the leash and continuing to move when she feels pressure on the leash, which is the dog holding back. Because Jeramie's a rock climber and she has very open, common sense, wit, and skill. This happened very quickly. So 3 years of the dog bulking. Within 30 minutes, we got the dog to voluntarily move across the slick floors. So next step, the airport.
Mother said straight ahead, not to delay or be misled. I should have heeded her advice, but he seemed so nice.